Ron Moshier from the Observer-Dispatch on now. Good morning, Ron. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill.
Well, were there a lot of canceled games, a lot of rainouts?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
More than ever. I mean, I've been in this business for nearly 40 years, and to me, this is the worst spring we've ever had. I mean, rain, sleet, snow, wind, 30-degree temperatures. Saturday I just talked to, of course, I'm saying this, I'm out in the woods with my black lab.
Nice.
You might hear ducks and geese in the background.
Okay, all right, that's a good sign.
But at least I'm in shorts today, Bill. But I was in shorts in February, and then I went like a month or two, back to the wind pants. So, anyway, Saturday I talked to Scott Parsons, one of the best baseball coaches around. He's been the high school baseball coach at Holland Patton for 32 years, and he said, I can't tell you everything he said over the phone, but the adjectives he used, but absolute the worst he's ever remembered.
Well,
and that's coming from a coach whose team's got 10 games in. They're 9-1. In fact, we're covering them today at Clinton.
I got to tell you, we had this the same conversation last year, that it was awful last year, if you remember, and they were having a hard time getting all the games in, and now this year is worse than last. It's really something.
Yeah, this year's worse, and for the second straight year, the Section 3 committee has opened up the baseball and softball tournaments to anyone who wants to enter the playoffs. You know, it used to be you had to qualify 40%. Yeah. You had to win 40% of your league games, your overall games, or your games against same-class schools. And they waived that this year, that requirement, because a lot of teams haven't gotten many games in. I mean, 5 or 6 games by now. Yeah. We've only got 2 weeks left in the regular season.
That is just crazy.
Does anybody ever say no to that when they have the open, anybody can be in the playoffs? Does anybody ever back out?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Really?
Without a doubt.
Why?
Well, teams that are 1-12 or something, they'll opt out.
Yeah, okay.
But
well, good for them.
What worries me is if the more teams you have in, the longer the playoffs might take. And, you got to squeeze them in, and you better have a deep pitching staff with the pitch count and...
I'm not
with the limitations.
I wasn't a fan of this last year when they let everybody in, and I'm not a fan of it now because, these are all single elimination games. All it takes is so you have one good pitcher and a pretty decent team. That could be your depth right there,
right?
And that's going to make you, you're going to win one out of every 3 games if you're lucky. I'm not sure I love it, but I don't know what else they can do.
Well,
right?
You're absolutely right. I would just hope that it's left up to the discretion of each school, each team.
Yep.
I'm hoping they use some common sense.
Right.
You don't. It could go the other way too, Bill. You could have a first round game that's 22-0.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Who
That's true
wants
too.
to see or play that?
But I don't think they have any.
I'm hoping the coaches and the athletic directors use some common sense here.
Sure,
because you don't want to waste. If you play a very good team, and that good team may want to, okay, I'm going to save my best pitcher.
Sure, yeah.
And maybe go with my number 2 and number 3 and try to get by with that. That could be that could put you in jeopardy too. So,
all right. So who is in? Anybody can
favorites?
Be in. But who are the favorites?
I really think. And geez, this is the 3rd or 4th straight year I've said this. Vernon, Verona, Sherrill, but they've been Class A the last couple of years. They've been seeded 1st and seeded 2nd, and they've been one and done. They've gotten beaten by a good pitcher, 3-2, 4-3 in the first round the last 2 years. But I really love that team. Chad Hodkinson's got 2 of the best players around. They're both playing Division I baseball after this, and that's Dewey Roden and Davey Moffitt. I mean, we talked about them for the last 3 years in basketball and baseball. It's the Dewey and Davey show, and not to be overlooked is their catcher Nate Palmer, who's a great all-around athlete. Not very big, but a scrappy, hard-nosed, gritty type kid that I really like that team. And now they're in B. I understand that they're a big Class B school now, so I think they've got a shot, a real shot at winning Class B this year. And again, I've jinxed them the last couple of years, but and in B, Holland Patton's a smaller B school, but they're 9-1. They've got a great pitcher named Jake Beer who pitched the other day and gave up a leadoff single, and then retire the next 15 in order. I mean, that close to a perfect game.
Wow.
A 5-inning perfect game. But Holland Patton's 9-1. Class B, don't forget Oneida. They won their first ever Section 3 title last year for Coach Ryan Kramer, and they're still very good in the Tri-Valley League. And small school, you can never count out a team like Oriskany. West Canada Valley, I believe, 8 or 9-1 now with a great all-around athlete in Matt Tobin that you've heard of, many times as a football quarterback and a guard in basketball. So I think we've got some really good teams. It's just this weather, this spring season, and turn things upside down. That's what I worry about.
And I got to tell you, we've done a great job of producing players in the NHL and even in football to go on and play, work their way up through college, and, of course, in some cases go on and play some level of professional sports.
I know where you're going with this.
Baseball is tough here because we just don't have the weather for kids to play here like in other parts of the country.
We check the climate out.
Yeah.
When's the last time we've had I'll go way back, Dave Cash, Andy Van Slyke, Mark Lemke. I mean, the New Hartford coach right now, Kevin Green, who used to be coach at Notre Dame and played at Notre Dame, he got drafted, but that was quite a while ago. He's going to be inducted into the Greater Utica Sports Hall of Fame this year. But we have not had superstar baseball players in quite some time. Look, Zach Bonero played at New York Mills. Great pitcher, about 6'4", 220. Then he went to Monroe Community College and was their Athlete of the Year for 2 years. Now he's at University of Mount Olive in North Carolina. In fact, my wife and I last week just drove by it. He, you know how many games that team played this year? Like 60. And I think they'll probably wind up in the Division II national tournament because they're always ranked. And he led them in saves, and I think he was 6-1 as a reliever. I really believe he's going to get drafted this year. I mean, there's a kid who went south and
you got to play. You got to play. Yeah, that's the problem. All right,
here we're at a disadvantage.
We are. There's no doubt about it.
I'll just mention, because I went to school with him and he was a great ball player. Matt Devins was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays, I believe. And then, of course, Pat Corbin was Syracuse area, but he pitched briefly at MVCC, and he's in the bigs now.
But it's tough.
It's tough
here.
Yeah. Well, look what Patrick Corbin did. He went from MV to Chipola College, which is a scholarship junior college in Florida, and got all kinds of looks and got drafted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Again, it's all about.
And now he's going to be an all-star.
It's all about getting playing time. So there you go.
That dome at UC is a big game changer.
I do too. I really think that thing is enormous. You don't realize it till you drive up to it. It's really big. All right, Ron. Let's see what happens. We'll stay in touch here the next couple of weeks. Of course, hard to believe. Kids will be taking finals in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah. Well, the playoff seeding meeting is Sunday, May 20th. So maybe we can talk after that.
All right, sounds good. Just around the corner, right, Ron? Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Ron Moshier, enjoy your stroll through the woods. All right.
Take care.
Okay. Ron Moshier, read all about it at Utica OD, utica.od.com.